Good morning, Connect, day 2. So, we had a really exciting day yesterday. Had a lot of great conversations with all of you. We learned yesterday from our customers and from some of the people at MuleSoft. We had AT&T and Wells Fargo and others up here on stage. We talked about the composable enterprise. Greg told us about that, and Ross took us through what is API-led connectivity. We learned about disruption from a lot of CIOs, from several CIOs on a great panel, and we got to see Uri's robots dance. So, interesting story about those robots. So, Uri was supposed to be my co-presenter of this product keynote today, and I heard that the robots took him out in an Uber to go dancing last night after the party. The robots I saw came back, but without Uri. They did have his slippers. So we're going to continue on. Actually, some of the things you saw yesterday in that demo, I'm going to talk about a little bit more about what we're doing today around that in the product, around API lifecycle and API development, along with another bunch of other great announcements that we have this week for you, and a preview of some of the really exciting things that are coming up soon as well from MuleSoft and Anypoint Platform. So I'm going to talk to you about product. Show you the roadmap disclaimer. I'm going to talk to you about speed. I'm going to talk to you about scale and control. And these are really important. In addition, I thought about these as I was talking to many of you over the last couple of days. And there's a number of themes that kept coming up. On the first day, I heard over and over again, talking with some of our customers, about the challenge of dealing with generational IT. And multiple generations and layers of IT that they have to deal with. And the desire to unlock their data, unlock the data that's trapped inside these systems. That data needs to and wants to be free. And by freeing that data, you can drive the innovation and agility within your organization that you desire. So when I talk about speed, I talk about how we can help you move faster in developer productivity, and scale at runtime and in the cloud and inside your enterprise, and ability to control all of this. These are some of the ways that we're helping you deal with these challenges within your enterprise. And I think you'll be excited to hear some of the things that I'm going to talk about today that you might have seen in some of our product sessions yesterday, or you might go see in some of our product sessions later today with what's new in the Anypoint platform. Before I do that, I want to also bring up one additional customer. Now this is interesting. They don't have a generational IT problem. They are actually building a composable enterprise from scratch and doing it as they're growing explosively and leveraging the cloud in order to do all this. So I want to introduce and bring up a warm welcome, Christopher Nelson. He's the Senior Director of Business Applications at Splunk. He's going to tell you about their journey.
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it. All right, you got the control. All right, thanks, Connect. You guys will have to excuse me. I am fighting a little cold, a little too much fun. Anyway, thanks so much. I guess if it's true what Martin says, that we're eating software, then I guess in my role, I'm the chef. I'm sort of cooking and mixing everything up. And I think what we wanted to do today is I just wanted to share my story about how we at Splunk really were sort of in the valley of despair, and we had a bit of a spider web and some things going on, and how we really discovered MuleSoft, and then how they allowed us to really achieve our goals through speed, scale, and control as we went from a pre-IPO company to just the growth monster that we are today. So this is a little bit about Splunk. I mean, as far as some of our statistics, I think the important thing to note is that 4 years ago when we started this journey, when I started the journey with Splunk, we were 350 employees, right? We were 150 million in revenue, and we really had a much smaller product portfolio. But for those of you who don't know us, this is who we are today. And as far as the business goes, what we do is we are a software manufacturer that creates a platform for machine data. And machine data is one of the fastest growing segments of data today. And it's growing not only in volume, but velocity and variety as we have Internet of Things, as we have APIs that are generating all these different log files. So our mission statement is to make machine data accessible, usable, and valuable to everybody. And so in that, when we were really preparing for our IPO and when we were really looking at across our cloud-based architecture, which I'll sort of show you a slide in a minute as far as what we'd brought together as our SaaS systems that we were developing on, we really needed to solve the problem of integration. We needed to solve the problem of services and APIs. And I think, again, reflecting on what I just heard from Martin, one of the decisions that we made is while we want to be able to be agile and innovate and iterate the way that we develop, we wanted to start with some foundational principles that were important to us. Number one, cloud-only infrastructure, right? The way that my team was shaped and formed, we didn't have anybody that could run operations. We needed everything to run, pure play in the cloud. The other thing is when we started thinking about how we were going to start stitching these systems together, because what I inherited, even though it was on new infrastructure, like I think most people, when you have some infrastructure that's just being managed by a lot of different people, you'll find that the integrations between them are a lot of point-to-point, or they're just some very small proprietary tools that are just moving data back and forth. And it was really important to us as we started re-architecting this and really planning for our scale, planning for our growth, that we needed to have a services strategy. And that meant a tool that could help us generate microservices, generate APIs as well. So this is a little flavor. This is actually sort of the pretty picture. I'd say that if I was drawing the picture before, there would not be a mule symbol there. There would be a lot of different spider webs sort of going back and forth. But this is just to bring to life for you guys the fact that we are running an all-cloud portfolio at Splunk. And so we started this search. We'd had some tools in play. We also, I'm sure as most of you who work in IT, we also had other people who had opinions for what were the best tools out there. And so it was really important for us that we did, a deep dive and some due diligence. And this was really a couple years ago. And quite honestly, the first decision was an opinion won out over the facts. And so we actually got on a competitor and we had a challenge, and we were in a period of pain for about a year because it just wasn't what it said it was. And so what we had to do is we had to go back to the drawing board, and my team really had to sit down and say, okay, let's look at what are the core requirements that we need for a product. And I think that you'll see these things up here, but I think that the biggest thing for us that was really important is, number one is cloud-only infrastructure, something that was nimble, but we also looked for something where we could do the customization, right? Where we could write some of the SDKs. We also wanted to find, a product that also had, like ourselves, had a big community, a developer community, and sort of a spirit of open source that we could really rely on. And so this led us to MuleSoft. And when we started, lining it up against the competitors, and we went and reflected back on our principles of what were really driving this decision, it really became clear and apparent. And so, this is the quote from the CFO on our decision. I think the net is, we chose wisely. There's some words there that I can't pronounce, so I just sort of say, we chose wisely. But at the end of the day, this was a decision that, throughout our organization just really resonated with us, because we realized at that point that, not only were we getting a technology that met all of our principles, but I think for myself, as somebody who buys a lot of software, it's also really important that you align with a company that also has principles of innovation, that has principles of openness, that has principles of disruption as well. So this was something that really helped align our decision and really solidify that. So this was our recommendation. We came back with MuleSoft as sort of the resounding yes. And I think, it's just really important to know that since then, and so this was about 2 years ago, I'd say that the results that we've seen now is, we did, because we were sort of wanted to do a POC and we wanted to be very lightweight, so we were able to leverage and get some speed and put a POC in place very quickly. That was, it was actually our fulfillment transaction that was something that was incredibly important to our business. We got a lot of success there. We found speed to development. We found speed in the processing. And so this has allowed us to continue to build and innovate on top of the Cloud Hub platform. And so one of the things that's really exciting for me to talk about is then what have we done since then? So since we went and we started with a small transaction, which was 2 years ago, we have built on top of Cloud Hub some key strategic projects for our company. Number one, our online sandbox. So this allows us to go and do a free trial of our product in the cloud, where we're leveraging services that integrate between our web page, between our web properties, and between Salesforce.com and NetSuite and Amazon. I mean, all of these services are being orchestrated seamlessly through MuleSoft. Now we're integrating with our web properties in our back office and our CRM system directly through MuleSoft and Cloud Hub. Our e-commerce, we've stood up and we've done a lot of e-commerce transactions, and we're actually doing some more portals, and we're going to continue to drive and innovate. And then we're also leveraging MuleSoft to help drive our Workday implementation and doing auto provisioning and deprovisioning. But I think one of the most powerful things that's really come into play that, when I think about control is something that I think is not sexy, but it's actually something that is really important when you think about running enterprise business applications. And so before we got onto the Cloud Hub platform, it was really hard for me to leverage our product to understand what was transacting between the systems. Now that we're on this single platform, one of the huge value adds that I get is I'm able to pull this log data, and I'm able to pull this transactional data into our tool, which is Splunk, and I'm able to understand and monitor and manage the flow of data. So when you understand and you think about what Martin was saying is now people are saying, where's my API? Where is my data? What is my SLA? I now have full visibility and I have full control over that because of the power of MuleSoft and the way that they're playing very well with our product. And so some of the exciting things that we're doing with that is we're actually now creating quote-to-cash analytics, where we're looking at how our quote-to-cash transactions flow between our CRM system, our ERP system, and our fulfillment system. We're able to extrapolate out the performance of the technology layer, and then we're able to really analyze and understand how are our processes performing, how are people processes. As an IT guy, this is fabulous, because then I'm able to really prove the results of what my team is delivering to the business, but I can also then show back to them some areas where they can increase their performance. And then, and moving forward, we're just really excited about the future of how we can actually combine more and put more of leveraging MuleSoft to bring structured data into Splunk, and then also the unstructured data as well. So I know that was sort of a really quick overview, but I just wanted to take the opportunity to say, thank you to the MuleSoft team. I really feel like this is more than just a relationship. This is just a partnership. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Christopher. That was fantastic, and I think it really helped to highlight some of the things that I want to talk about now around the Anypoint platform and our new releases. And we'll get back. We'll talk a little bit more about Splunk at a later point in this presentation. We talk about some of the things that we're doing around visibility and control. So this week, you might have seen, we announced the Anypoint platform June 2015 release. And I'm very, very excited about everything that's gone into this release and what we're able to provide you, our customers, on our platform, As the core of this release and of any of our releases that we have, that Mule core runtime that Ross spoke about yesterday is in there. And with the Anypoint Platform June release, we have upgraded that to Mule 3.7. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about, you see, comes out of that core and that capability that we offer you inside there, as well as the rest of the platform in terms of management, in terms of APIs and Exchange and other services that we offer on the Anypoint platform. So first I'm going to talk to you about speed. And how does MuleSoft help you move faster? How does Anypoint Platform help you be more productive, especially at development time? One thing I hear over and over again from our customers, and Christopher said it as well, the ability to move quickly, to learn the platform very quickly, and the speed of productivity that developers see on the Anypoint platform is something that many people aren't used to. And it's something also that we're never satisfied in terms of where we are. We're always trying to push to see how can we make the platform easier to adopt and easier to use and make it more productive for you. One of the areas of that is around our connectivity and the ubiquitous connectivity that we offer on the platform. There are thousands of applications and public APIs out there. And that's not including the application APIs you may be developing inside your enterprise. But just looking at the external software, whether it's installed on-premise or it's cloud-based or it's external APIs and services you use. And one of the things that we offer in the platform is Anypoint Exchange. And Anypoint Exchange allows you to discover a lot of this connectivity. We have a number of connectors available that you can access and download and install directly into our platform through the Anypoint Exchange. Ross mentioned yesterday there's over 130 of those. But our goal is to continue to see this grow. And the ones that we have there today, we have many certified ones. There are community connectors. But we've actually rolled this into a new certification program where we are actually working directly with developers in our community, our partners, and even our customers to take and package their connectivity and make it available in the Anypoint Exchange to grow the amount of out-of-box connectivity that you can go and instantly discover and have access to. So we have a number of partners that have released recently new connectors that are verified and available on Anypoint Exchange today. I think there's a panel of a few of them happening later today. And we have a certification program that gives you, the customer, the assurance around the quality and the completeness and the maintainability of those connectors. And I'm excited. I believe that we're going to see many, many more connectors introduced into that Anypoint Exchange ecosystem through this program, as well as through the tools that we're offering to make it easy to build connectivity. One of those tools is the Anypoint platform in Mule itself and the dynamic API connectivity capabilities of the platform. That means that any API, if you have a contract defined for it, whether it's a WSDL contract or a RESTful contract defined through a RAML specification, the platform has out-of-the-box capability for you to connect and discover the operations and metadata and data structures about those APIs. However, you can then take that dynamic API connectivity, and we provide, through the Anypoint Connector Dev Kit, the ability to package that up into these reusable connectors. And this is a full SDK, along with some exciting capabilities, that makes it easy to create this ubiquitous, reusable connectivity. And with the new platform release, we have a new release of the Anypoint Connector Dev Kit IDE. And so the Dev Kit has a full graphical development environment that's integrated right in Anypoint Studio. That means as you're building these connectors, you can use them right inside your flows and test them out right inside Studio. It also has a number of amazing features that do things like automate your testing, automate interoperability testing with Studio, automate testing of the API calls within it, and also automate the generation of the documentation so that people that want to consume your connector can easily understand how to use it. Other great features deal with things like API authentication, which can vary from system to system, support for generation of data sense, which is the metadata around the data structures of that are coming out of these applications. That's important because as you get the data out, you're looking to transform and work with it after you've unlocked it. and support for the advanced features in our platform, things like batch and such. The dev kit SDK and the IDE environment around it give you all the capabilities to easily package all that stuff up and support all those in connectors. In addition, one of the new capabilities in there is called SOAP Connect. SOAP Connect is fantastic. If you're dealing with systems and APIs that are based off the SOAP protocol, all you need to do is point it at your WSDL and go. It'll package up that connector for you. There's a session later today on how to build a connector in 30 minutes. I think they spend 10 minutes actually building the connector and 20 minutes talking to you about how easy it was. Of course, we have SOAP Connect. We also have REST Connect coming. REST Connect is coming in the next release of DevKit and Q3, and that's going to allow you to do the same thing based off your RAMLs. Just ways that we're making it faster and easier to build out connectivity and grow the number of systems and applications that you can reliably connect to on the Anypoint platform. So once you've connected to that information, you want to be able to transform that. And a large amount of the effort spent in integration is dealing with data transformation and mapping. Because this is really where you get into the detail. What are these data structures, and how do you need to use them and transform them in your business? And so why is this so slow? Well, the developers want to move more quickly when it comes to data transformation. They would like, what I've heard from you want tools that are easy to learn. You want to be able to test and debug those maps. You want to be able to reuse those and share those. I mean, mappings are often shared across different processes. You don't have to recreate those. And you certainly don't want to have to recreate those if you're using the same structures and you just need to go to a new format, say XML versus JSON. You want those maps to be agnostic of that. And one of the most important things is this has to be preferable to code, because we already know that the code is not very maintainable and it's very little visibility. But if you're going to provide an alternative to that, it has to be something that you're going to prefer to use. Data transformation also has to be scalable and performant at runtime. So one of the first questions I get after talking to customers about how they can transform data, they're like, well, how does it perform? So you want to be highly performant. You want to be able to deal with high throughputs, which may be high throughput of many small messages, or you might have large payloads or multiple sets of messages that you have to deal with. So you need that flexibility and scalability as well. That's important. So one of the things, if you attended Dan Deephouse's session yesterday on some of the new stuff in Anypoint Platform, you already heard about Weave. Or if you're in our beta program, you might have heard about it. But I'd like to introduce to everyone that hasn't had a chance to hear about that, what Weave is, and why we're so excited, and why the customers that have been already working with it today are very excited about Weave. Weave represents a brand new data query and transformation language. This was designed and built from the ground up to solve this problem of transformation and deal with the many complexities of dealing with different types of data structures, hierarchical data, flat data, data out of SaaS applications, out of back-end systems, EDI data, also API data, and working with the new formats around JSON and XML. So we designed a language to handle all of these use cases, and not just do transformation, but also do things like filtering and querying of that data, deduplication. All of that is built right into the language. And it's a very easy and simple language to learn. And underneath that, we've built a very powerful execution engine. This is an engine that's 5 times more performant than the current Anypoint data mapper. This is an engine that has pluggable data connectors. So if you have new formats, you have specialized formats within your company, or you are working in a particular industry and there's a legacy format or a new data protocol comes up, you can plug in these new formats very easily and extend and continue to use this tool and this platform to handle all those mappings and transformations. We also provided an editor for this. So there's a fully, very rich graphical editor, as well as a graphical mapping drag and drop editor that is being developed to support this. Here's an example of what the language looks like. It's, if you're familiar with JSON, you might see some similarities to that. But it's actually, within just a few lines of the language, you can instruct the Anypoint platform to do quite a bit with your data. And because there's this underlying language, and because we offer also a graphical environment, you'll be able to have that two-way editing. So you have full visibility and the ability to understand what's happening and then to be able to grab that and share that with others, either through Anypoint Exchange or through your source code control system, these maps. And then instantly be able to see what that output looks like. So this is exciting. This will be available we have a release candidate available next week that's going to be available for download of our new studio for the June release, and you'll be able to try out Weave directly in that. So beyond just providing a new way to do data transformation, we're looking at where can we take data transformation in the platform as well. And one area is in the area of integrating with your partners, and that's with our new product that's coming out called Anypoint B2B. So with Anypoint B2B, you have the ability to deal with EDI data, Edifact, X12. You have to work with EDI protocols like AS2, and then be able to use our data transformation, both the existing Anypoint data mapper and the new Weave data transformation, right inside our platform, all inside with a unified experience. The other thing is trading partner management. This also introduces a new component to the platform that allows you to set up your policies and your SLAs, your contracts with your trading partners, and manage those right inside the Anypoint platform with the same capabilities as you have for APIs and integration, and visibility into those partner transactions. So this is coming. There's a session later today on this. If you have a chance and you're interested in that, you can see it a little bit more closely and find out. Already, some of you are working with components of this today. We have customers that are using elements of our EDI connectivity and AS2 connectors. So let's go back to development speed. Agile development, one of the core tenets of it is test-driven development. And we've, at MuleSoft and the Anypoint platform, have come up with test-driven integration with something that we call MUnit. Now, some of you may already be using MUnit today. MUnit has been available in our developer community for a while as a framework for integrating, doing integration and testing those integrations on the platform. We now have a fully integrated test development environment built right into the Anypoint Studio. And in that environment, you can specify tests. You can mock out your endpoints, so you don't have to worry about external endpoints that you're connecting to. You can provide mocks of those, and you can write tests using flows that assert and test the different logic within your orchestration and within your transformations and your filters and the other things that you're performing inside your integration flows. And with MUnit, you can execute those tests, validate them right in the Anypoint Studio, as well as inside your continuous integration tools, the Jenkins or our Maven and other tools that you might be using. So this allows you to continue to evolve and change your integrations and be able to test against those in a test-driven fashion, so you can develop more quickly and understand that you're developing the correct thing. So those are things that are coming out in the new products that we're announcing. I also want to give you a little bit of a preview of some other things that we're working on. And I mentioned yesterday, Uri took you through the full API lifecycle development of the APIs that he built for his next generation hospitality company. And he showed you how he used the API designer and how he used the mocking service and the API notebook to build out the use cases and to collaborate with his team. Well, we believe that there's still a lot of room on top of this for additional innovation in making that API lifecycle even better. And there's a lot that we're working on right now to extend the collaboration and the capability around API development. We want to speed up the development and collaboration around APIs. We want to allow you to collaborate through integration of the tools directly into source code control. We want to allow you to create client snippets so you can provide example code in different languages for your API consumers to use. One of the ways you can then create those snippets might be from tests that you build. And all of this being driven by RAML, which is a living document that drives not only that at design time, but then at test time, building those tests, monitoring, tying those tests to what's happening and the execution of the APIs and validating those tests, being able to share and publish those RAMLs through the Anypoint Exchange, and be able to look at call logs to understand how an API performs in order to understand how to design a RAML from that. So that's the key. RAML's at the center of this, and with that, providing you that complete development experience, but at the same time, a unified governance model, as Uri called it, carrot governance. The ability to use this as a contract and as a way to, as you move through that development cycle and then out into production, to maintain high-quality APIs that can be reused. So that's something that we're working on right now, and something that we hope to be able to show to all of you very soon. So we talked about speed. Now let's move up and talk about scale. You develop quickly. Now you also need to scale. Scale both in the cloud, but also scale inside your enterprise. This, another thing that we are announcing and that's new in this release, is the new Anypoint Management Center. So Anypoint Management Center provides you a unified experience around developing, monitoring, and running on our platform. That unified experience extends from APIs into integrations, extends from the cloud also to running on-prem. So you can manage in any of these environments. You can manage from the Anypoint Management Center running on Cloud Hub, connect up to Mule instances running inside your firewall and manage those. Connect up to API gateways running inside your firewall or on the cloud and manage those and automatically deploy those API gateways. But you can also take Anypoint Management Center and deploy the entire management center inside your firewall to allow you to manage things directly inside. And it's been built for web scale. The Anypoint Management Center is built on the same technology, the same platform that's already running Cloud Hub today, with thousands of integrations running out there. And so the scale that this allows you and offers you is different. What makes it different? One, as I mentioned, it's a unified interface. APIs, integrations in a single product. For those of you that might be using our Mule Enterprise Management or MMC management platform today, as you migrate to this, you can get a 50x improvement in that scale. The ability to manage thousands of deployments reliably and at speed. It also supports enterprise self-service. It has our core services around identity and security and permissions and organizational control built into it that allows you to delegate that provisioning. So if you're managing thousands of deployments, you don't have one IT infrastructure guy managing all those deployments. You have teams of people, you have different departments and different functions, and this gives you the ability to scale across your enterprise in that fashion. Lastly, the ability to confidently stream your traffic metrics around your APIs and your business events around the integration flows and the messages flowing through your system out into, whether it's into Anypoint Analytics, our analytics solution, as well as into other systems and applications. I mentioned we're going to get back to Splunk. One of the things that we offer out of the box is a connector to feed that information directly into your Splunk big data system. So you can analyze those traffic metrics, those logs, and business events, any information flowing through Mule, you can then feed that information out into Splunk very easily to perform that analysis. This also supports databases as well as things like the ELK Elasticsearch stack. So you have options. And one of the reasons you have options is because we built APIs and we provide an SDK on top of this aspect of our management, which allows you to plug in any third-party analytics solution and quickly and easily configure that and feed that information in a customized manner to those systems. This is really important in the enterprise as you want to scale, and the Anypoint platform needs to adapt and fit within the rest of your infrastructure, that we embrace these other tools that you're using and give you choices to work cleanly and easily with them. But there's more that we're also working on that we're not quite ready to show everything about today, but I do want to take a moment to talk about. Yesterday, Uri talked about microservices. He mentioned Docker. And Docker is just one of many technologies that we're looking at, and we're talking to you, our customers, about how do we scale across the different cloud solutions and cloud approaches that you're using. So we think about multi-cloud support inside the Anypoint platform. With Cloud Hub, we're running on Amazon Web Services today. We're providing you a SaaS service to manage your integration and APIs for you, but also looking at other clouds, working with some of our customers who are deployed in the Microsoft Azure environment, and how do we support, and how do we tie in to the different provisioning and security and identity APIs of these different clouds, whether they're the public clouds like Amazon and Microsoft, or your private clouds, which you might be getting from Cisco or using OpenStack or other vendor solutions. How do we work with those APIs work with our partners to ensure that the Anypoint platform works and embraces these technologies and delivers the solution, the platform that you want. And then how do we help you with microservices? And when you look at Docker and containerization, how do you build out APIs and microservices and deploy those in a Dockerized environment? So we talked about speed and we talked about scale. Now I want to talk about control. Speed without control, you get a different version of this guy. You get the guy driving on the highway on an out-of-control bus. So control is important. The first thing I want to talk about is lifecycle control. Lifecycle control is about looking at your software development lifecycle and helping you by prescribing how does the Anypoint platform work across design, development, test, deployment, and production management. And one thing that I've heard is that you're looking for advice and prescription from us on how to do this, as well as how do our tools fit into this. So we are building that out. We're building out prescriptive guides for this and more information, documentation, and training to help you with this, as well as continually enhancing our tools. And some of the new things that we've done are around things like the Anypoint Exchange. So I talked about the Anypoint Exchange being available as our public marketplace to go find connectivity solutions, whether it's connectors or templates or examples. But also, every single one of you that has an Anypoint platform license, you also have a full license to your own private Anypoint Exchange. What this is the ability for you to encode your best practices, your patterns, and your designs, and serve those up and support those for your enterprise. It's your own center of excellence tied directly into our platform, meaning these things are tied directly into Studio. You can open them up directly in Studio, work with them, collaborate on them, disseminate that knowledge and information across the various development teams in your organization through the Anypoint Exchange. And it ties into your own internal content management source code control system, so you maintain the level of control over those best practices, those example projects or templates that you create. Next, we talk about after development, how do you test and perform continuous integration? We already spoke about MUnit, but MUnit is just one piece of this. Between Anypoint Studio and then working with, in the runtime, with the Anypoint Management Center and the agent, which is a control unit piece of the Mule runtime, you can tie in to your continuous integration systems, whether it's Jenkins or you're using Maven or you're using other platform technologies. We provide the APIs both at the federated management level and at the individual Mule level in order to be able to control and deploy in a continuous integration environment. This means running your tests, means setting up your staging and QA environments so you can develop more quickly with the platform and get to production more quickly. Then once in production, you need to do application performance management. We already spoke about Splunk and with our integration and our plugin for Splunk, what that allows you to do there. But there are also other tools, monitoring tools like Nagios and Zabbix that you can work with directly out of the box with the Anypoint platform. We provide plugins directly into those. And those agents and that SDK inside, those APIs and SDK inside that agent allow you to plug it into many of the other open source or commercial products that you might be using with the Anypoint platform in order to both manage and diagnose and monitor your runtime environments. So we've made the runtime management open. As we continue to invest and build out the capabilities into the platform, we are also embracing the capabilities of the other great, fantastic tools out there that you are already using. Another area of control I want to talk about is something new that we are announcing this week called business groups. Business groups is a very, very powerful capability for larger enterprises, as well as for those of you that may be working with integrations where you're dealing with partners or customers. Business groups gives you, in a multi-tenant fashion, a per-group allocation of governance of those resources, whether it's the allocation of the cores or the policies and APIs, the users and the roles and the permissions against those, all based upon your organizational structure. That means it ties in to your LDAP structure. You can model your organization, whether it's functional departments or project teams, and control how resources are allocated, how visibility and access is given, Analytic information can be limited by the groups, only the groups that are required and able to see those. The resources can be managed. Provisioning can happen within the silos of different tenants or different business groups. This is a very, very unique and important capability in the platform. As you start to think about how you scale out across that enterprise, yet provide a level of control on that scale that gives you the visibility and allows you to stay compliant with the processes and the rules within your organization. Another area is around our identity management support. Christopher mentioned on one of his slides the importance of single sign-on and auditing and SOX compliance. And we support a number of single sign-on mechanisms in the platform with some of our partners like Ping Identity and OpenAM from ForgeRock, but also are working on and will be releasing shortly SAML 2 Federation support for single sign-on. Also take a moment to mention with Ping and OpenAM that also part of our API governance strategy and ability to support OAuth 2 policies with both of these partners, as well as we are working and will be releasing support for our own Anypoint Enterprise Security module, which provides you an OAuth 2 server to allow you to create secure OAuth 2 policies and serve up those tokens from right inside the platform. So speaking about security, let's also talk about compliance and the insurance and compliance that MuleSoft provides you with our platform. One of the things that is unique about us and our cloud platform that we offer is that we've gone through a rigorous process to ensure that our processes and our infrastructure and our security is up to the job that you want to put it at. Many of you are in highly regulated industries. Many of you are public companies or have other needs to protect, whether it's trade secrets or customer PII or other information that's flowing through the platform. And that's one of the challenges you can run as you look at going out into a public cloud environment. And so the security processes we put in place and the capabilities we put in the platform to ensure that we can provide things like level 1 PCI compliance and high trust, our SOC 2 Type 2 SSA 16 audit that we've passed, as well as something new coming around support for Safe Harbor, where we ensure privacy and protection over your information in our platform and through an independent validation that we went through with a partner to do that. So continue to invest in ensuring that we have a highly compliant, secure, and robust environment, processes around that, services that we're hosting for you, and the software and the technology that we're offering in it to help with this. So in addition to that, just a couple more things that I also want to talk about that are coming in the platform. We just talked about compliance. One of the things they're working on is in our global reach around the different data centers that our software runs around the world through our partner Amazon, ensuring that we can provide controlled data residency. That means the platform will allow you to control and assign regional restrictions on where your data, such as analytics, message queuing, and log data resides. That means if you're one of our customers in Australia and we're running inside the Amazon Center in Australia, we will ensure that our platform keeps that data in that local data center and doesn't leave that region. This isn't a level of control that we can offer you through how we manage our platform and through that architecture, that distributed architecture, how we can now run these services in these different regions and isolate the data in those regions. Lastly, talk about alerts and diagnostics, going back to management and monitoring and those controls. So today, you have in the Anypoint platform in the analytics service, the ability with APIs to see the level of visibility about the API traffic running through. What happens when something goes wrong? What happens when an interesting event occurs and you want to be alerted to that? The ability from that dashboard to be able to be alerted to that event and from that drill down and get complete visibility into the event data and the log data of exactly what happened inside the system to generate that alert. And to do that across not only just from the APIs, but down into the integrations that underlie those APIs as you're composing those APIs on top of your existing enterprise. And give you access to all that information in the right context so you can more quickly resolve those situations. We're building all that right into the analytics stack that's available as part of the Anypoint platform to give you that flexibility and that capability right out of the box. So we talked about speed, we talked about scale, and we talked about control. There's a lot of great capabilities in the Anypoint Platform June 2015 release that give you the ability to develop faster, to deploy at scale, and to provide you that level of control so you don't feel like you're in that bus speeding off the highway. With the Anypoint Platform, one of the things that we do is we listen to your customers, not just at Connect here today and yesterday, but through all the touch points that we have and the feedback you provide us through either our support team, our customer success team, or the conversations that we have directly with you from the product and engineering teams at MuleSoft. And it's our hope that we're listening to your feedback and that you're seeing some of the things that you're looking for in the platform in our future roadmap and our more recent releases that we've announced here today, and that you're as excited as we are about some of the new capabilities that we're offering in order to make this your platform to transform and take you on the journey to API-led connectivity. Thank you.